Hi there, welcome. Welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friends. I was just thinking as the music was playing how the prophet Jeremiah in the book of Lamentations, and if you know anything about that book, it's a sad book. There's about 3 verses that are really encouraging, and he was in the midst of total destruction. But he said, but in this I do have hope. For indeed the loving kindness of the Lord never ceases, for his mercies are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. Okay, let's just make a deal. Let's wake up every morning from this point on remembering brand new mercies coming from his throne. Isn't that great? Hey, we've got a great program for you today, and a couple of my favorite guests. That's Dr. Tanya Hawthorne and Linda Brown. They are missionaries to Africa. And I'm not going to explain a lot now because they're going to tell us everything, and we're going to have video to prove it. But they are there improving the health of people who have nothing. And that Linda, bless her heart, she worked here at CTN for 20 years. She has started a school over there giving opportunity for children to learn to read and have an education who never would have had. It's one of the greatest stories ever. But we'll let them tell that, and I'm going to join Stephanie and make fresh tomato bruschetta. I want to meet the person who put that whole bruschetta thing together and say, thanks, we love you, we really love you. Before I join her, though, please remember we're viewer supported. You are a viewer, my friend. We appreciate your support. If you use a credit card like Stephanie does, it's 1-800-229-0059. Or write to us at Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758. I am absolutely certain that so many of you, the Lord has kind of spoken to your heart and said, let's kind of support Homekeepers. And you always intended to. Okay, this is the day. Let's fulfill those intentions, and we will thank you very much. And I've joined Stephanie over here.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Don't you love bruschetta?
It smells so fresh in here right now. Yes.
My daughter, when my daughter and I go out, she always orders it if it's available.
So good. Okay, so we have plum tomatoes. What you're going to do, you're cutting up fresh basil for me. We have plum tomatoes. We have parsley. We have Parmesan, salt, pepper. We have balsamic vinegar, yummy. Oil and fresh minced garlic.
They need to make a perfume out of basil.
Yeah,
Boy.
I'm gonna mix these all together. You're gonna get the recipe for this one because I can't give you all of the amounts because we're.
There's a lot of ingredients in something that's kind of small.
Oh, balsamic vinegar. So something real funny. I come on here and I tell you how to cook and I do all this. This morning I burnt hard-boiled eggs. There you go.
That takes some talent.
I put them on the stove and I completely forgot about them.
Here at the station, yes.
Like, I don't know how much longer later, I went into the kitchen, there was no water, 0 water, and it was just burnt to a crisp. I'm like, oh.
Okay,
yep.
Let me tell you another little truthful
go.
thing. I have caught those eggs in time more than once.
You have caught, because
We're very early here. We're
I put
early
them on
birds.
and then I go to work and I don't think about them again. So you have whipped butter.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna put whipped butter on the bread. I'm just mixing, oh my gosh, this could just, with a spoon right here, this is all you need.
If you've never had it,
Let me get that fresh basil.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
if you've never had it, it's the most wonderful combination of fresh,
so fresh and yummy in here, really.
Fresh tomatoes and
okay, so you
and
have
olive oil.
You have whipped butter. You're putting that on. Then you're going to put cheese on that, right? That's mozzarella. Mozzarella.
Yeah, and that goes in the oven to brown a little bit, and we have some already done.
Yeah.
You can start.
Okay, so I'll do that.
Up,
okay.
and we'll
get it
continue
together,
with this.
Okay, so look at that loveliness right there. So, oh my gosh, this smells divine. Seriously, so good.
What
so
you know, you could make these even a little smaller and for hors d'oeuvres and things.
Like you could cut those in half, sure.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So, did you have enough eggs to start over?
So that was supposed to be my lunch, because I was gonna make egg salad. So I just had tomatoes and avocado for lunch instead, because I didn't feel like trying.
Oh, that's
again.
not bad.
No, it was good. But yep, burn them right up. Look at that.
Oh, beautiful, yes.
You could be fancy at home. You can.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yummy, right?
I do think the older you get,
Here you go.
and I'm a whole lot older than you,
Just a little.
that you do forget things on the stove rather easily.
Oh, and especially while I'm here, because I put them on the stove, and then I go back to my desk, and I just start working, and then forget about it. Unless somebody comes in and says, "Are those your eggs that are ready to burn on the stove?" And evidently, no one saw them today, so.
There are no words.
That's so good, right? It smells so good. Do this at home. Be fancy at home. Don't just wait for a restaurant. Like, I don't know. Maybe this isn't fancy for you, but it is for me.
Yes, this is so wonderful. You do need a napkin to kind of mop up after you take a bite, but I think this would be a great recipe for your little recipe library.
Yeah.
And so we will send that to you. The information's coming up on your screen as to how you can get it. And then stay with us after that. You're going to see one of the most exciting videos you've ever seen in your life, what God is doing in Kenya. So here we go.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
Arthelene, thank you very much.
I would think that video you just saw kind of took your breath away. Well, the ladies who make it happen are with us today, and they are very good friends of this network, very good friends of mine. In fact, Linda Brown worked here for how many years?
Over 20, long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. And Dr. Tanya, we're always glad to have you.
Thank you, Arthelene.
I think my audience knows that I am so partial to missionaries.
You are.
I'm a missionary's kid, or my pastor's kid, and the missionaries would always come through with these wonderful stories. And to watch what you ladies have done, it just, I have no words of appreciation. Dr. Tanya, you were out there a long time before Linda joined you, right?
A few years before she joined me, but she's been there almost 10 now. Can you believe that?
I can't. We were trying to get rid of her for many years.
Ouch! No.
Do you know what is so great is when God calls you.
Yeah.
he called her from here, and there was no missions board or any hoops to jump through. God just called you and you went. I kind of
and I'll always thank CTN and my family and friends here who still support me, and this is my family still. I've been gone a few years.
Absolutely.
It's still, but Bob, the president of the organization, still partners with us, and my friends. And I'm going to tell you, Arthelene truly does have a heart. Now, I think about it often when I was still working here, but getting ready to go, you're like, all right, what do you need, Linda? Do you need some jeans? I'll give you my, I mean, you do have a real passion.
And
for
I
what
have
we
a
do.
passion for don't get me wrong on this, okay? But those that are not building great big buildings and put out a slick magazine, I praise God for every one of them. But these are the ones that very few people know about.
Right.
But we can bring them to you through television. And so you are a medical doctor.
Yes, I am.
And you delivered a lot of babies. In fact, you told me you don't know how many.
I don't know how many. I was just the other day, I got back Saturday, so I've only been back a few days, but the day before I left, I had 2 babies, one within 20 minutes of each other. So I was running from one delivery room to another trauma room and delivering babies and seeing patients, and then the moms left about an hour later.
And then other things besides.
Goodness, yes.
Were you at the altar one day and the Lord called you? How did it all happen? It's so interesting to know how God calls people to leave their country, leave everything they know, and go to everything that's different.
You know, when I was a young girl, Arthelene, I was about 7 years old, 8 years old, I made a commitment to the Lord. I said, I'll do anything, God. And through that process of growing up, I was the only Christian in my family, by the way. And so just my love for the Lord. And
What in the world did they think when?
you know, thank God that he was there with me, because they didn't
understand?
they didn't understand it at first, you know. So
And what was the shock like when you got there? You needed a clinic, you needed a this, you needed a that, and there was a nothing.
you know, I spent 10 years first doing international relief. That's how we met, because I had been on your show after I came back from a war zone. So I had a lot of practice, but yeah, it was a big shock. It was a big transition of doing from ground up. That's very, very difficult.
It's that miracle of how God calls people, and you can't define it. Now, I always knew here that, I wouldn't say you weren't happy, but I didn't think you were content.
Oh, I loved everything about CTN, obviously, because you're still my family. But I knew there was something more, something else. Not a this isn't good enough, but there was something more. And I think God does put in your families, this is what you do. So there's a lot of preachers and ministers and missionaries in my family. So it wasn't, no one was shocked or no one was, you know, like, what are you doing? So I think it was just a natural, and I spent all my vacations, I would do mission trips, so it was a natural.
It was a natural transition for sure. Now, we're going to show some pictures, and these ladies are going to explain them. After that, we will put the website up, and I encourage you with everything I have to look at that website, write it down, and support these ladies. Now, Linda started a school that is growing like wildfire, and what a divine appointment, because you get into these countries where a lot of them can't read, don't know anything, and you get them saved and then educate them. That's what I believe. So we're going to have Gary show us some pictures, and you girls jump in to which is your work, because we've got health here and we've got education.
Okay, this is our brand new building. Our school in the past 3 years has doubled in size, so we needed a new building. So this is our new classroom for, we call them the babies, the baby class, and it's also a lunchroom for them. And we also double it as a Sunday school room also. That could be either one of us talking about this one, but we had a young man come in that needed some sutures, so we were stitching up his head.
Are you getting to be a little bit medical yourself?
A little bit. I'm a CNA, so I'm allowed to help. And this is
Are you helping them with their school work there?
I do, but I don't want them to learn too much of their fourth language, which is Southern. So I do.
You do teach them English, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yes. They do Swahili, Maasai Swahili, and English.
I am so impressed.
And that's our original building and the new building.
That is really attractive, Linda.
Thank you.
A school building, And churches have helped you with this, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
churches,
here's just a
individuals,
single
yeah.
gal who thought God wanted her to start a school, and it gives me goosebumps to think about it.
I'm glad I get to. I'm glad
Yes.
they pick me.
And what are you doing to that child?
Well, this baby was just born in distress, and so we were using some of our technology to bring it back to life.
She's saying technology. It's a tube, and we don't have the proper suction with machines and electricity that we have here. So she was manually cleaning the lungs of that baby.
Now you're gradually getting more and more. Oh, is that a brand new one?
Yeah.
That's a brand new one right out of the mom.
Out of the womb, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
This is our biggest accomplishment in the last year. We were able to get x-ray through. It took us a couple of years to raise all the money because we don't misuse our funds. We wait until we have it so we can pay for it.
do you have to get those in America, or can you buy them?
We did get that in America. The military actually uses this type of a machine for
It
disaster.
doesn't look like an X-ray machine.
Well, and it works great.
And so we have this wonderful combination of education and medicine.
And one of my delights is we are a Christian school.
Yes.
We use their curriculum, but that's me praying over teaching the kids about prayer. And we were praying for one of the kids that was sick and teaching them the power of prayer.
You don't have to talk me into a Christian school. My husband started one of my son,
Yes.
Yep.
and I'm a strong believer in Christian education.
And this is just
Well, ladies, it's so obvious that you're doing the work of the Lord, and I'd like to get your website up. I really want to encourage people to give to this ministry. It's seasoned, it's not brand new, but it is grassroots. It's going over there and getting one piece at a time.
Yes.
And I'm going to blow my reward in heaven right now. But I want my viewers to know that I believe in this, and I want to give you something
so
for it.
much, my friend.
And I would like for you to remember that website, keep it, and do it on a regular basis. These are ladies to me who just absolutely embody the call of Christ.
thank you, Arthur.
Now, if on the website, I've seen pictures of your students. They're
Amazing.
About how many now?
We have close to 90 altogether now. We have some older kids that are not in the academy. They're too old for the academy. We send to boarding school. And like I said, I told you earlier, my oldest son, he graduates high school in November. And then the coming fall, we'll be sending him, coming new year, we'll send him to medical school because he wants to be a clinical officer
Give
and
me
come back
chills.
in.
Oh my goodness.
Me too. It gave me chills too to think one of my babies is coming back, and that's what we do. It's
And
about
when she
that
says my
community.
babies, they're not hers really.
They really are my babies. Their parents physically say, "You're the mama. You do what you need." So I'm proud to be their
I
mom.
love this grassroots missions where you just go do it. God calls you and you just go do it. And the truth is that churches have been faithful to help you.
Yes, very
Could
much.
never do this by yourself.
We could not. We could not.
And it's not just churches, Arthelene, it's
Individuals.
it's individuals. People who said, you really are doing it.
Right.
You know, we really do live there. We really do face the challenges every day. We really do work very, very hard. And this is my first days off since March because we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I would say you have earned it. I hope you get rested up. Now, what kind of education would these children have if you hadn't started the school?
They wouldn't. We
Really?
This school is located 6 kilometers from our compound, which is the clinic, because this area they would have no education, zero, because they have to go to what we would call here the preschool and kindergarten class, and you can't walk through elephants and lions, and I mean, and that's not. I'm just saying that I physically had to in my truck chase the elephants away from the school where the kids could go to school the other day. No joke.
Yeah, she
no
puts
joke.
pictures on Facebook. I can vouch for it.
No joke. So they would never have any education. So in that it's called Orkeling. In that particular area, there is over 80 children that would have never had any education. And I believe we have pastors, nurses, doctors, and the president of Kenya coming up to our school.
I do too, and I know that we have the most wonderful viewers, but when you think that you could gather together at least 70 children to get a good education, to learn how to read, how do you put a price on that?
You don't.
You just can't. And you have the one clinic there. What kind of it's exciting, to have babies born, but you have a lot of sick people coming.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we do everything. I mean, from a typical cold to somebody that's been gored by a buffalo. The only thing we don't do is surgery, because I'm not a surgeon. I'm a family practice doctor, so we don't have surgery.
Is there some place you can send people who need surgery?
If it's a huge emergency, we put them in the back of a car and we take them about an hour and a half away to another place where they can do surgery.
Could you describe Kenya for the viewers? What's it like to shop there? And do they have elections?
Yeah, yes to all that. Now, Nairobi's the capital, and that's where we go to get most of our supplies. It's a big city. We have a lot, the UN's there,
It's a big metropolis.
Yeah. There's a lot of expats, what we would be called there.
What do they speak?
Swahili and English. They do.
Can you speak Swahili?
Akitioling. We live in a Maasai tribe, Kidogo. Well, I just answered you in Maasai, the third language. We primarily understand.
Are they
and
real
speak
violent?
Maasai. No, that's what people, we grew up looking at TV shows or magazine, National Geographic, thinking these savages, these are scary people. They are truly kind people. I mean, there's bad people here in Largo. There's bad people all over the world, but they are very kind.
Well, Dr. Tanya, is it hard to converse with them when you're trying to treat them?
Well, we always have translators with us, but I know enough so that I know what they're answering me back or what questions I want to ask. And, all my career has been international medicine, so I kind of know.
You're real comfortable there.
I'm very, very comfortable.
All right, in the few minutes we have left, I want each of you to think of something in education for you and something in medicine for you, some person or some situation that really stood out, that kind of just had the will of God stamped all over it, and you knew you were in the right place at the right time.
I'll go. I
go.
go right off the bat. I know.
Well, she's probably got several, but what's the best one?
No, a young man came in and he had an anaphylactic reaction, which is he was allergic to a bee sting, and he died. He died in front of us. But as he took his last breath, we were able to put an EpiPen in him. And we waited probably about 15 seconds, and he's dead. And you're thinking, oh my goodness. And then about 15 seconds, as we were all praying, he sat up on the table and he just went, and a week later he came into church, Arthelene, and he said, I once was dead, but now I'm alive. And he gave his heart to the Lord. So
I don't have
yes, I
anything
have.
to say. No
You're in the
wonder
right
she would
place
think
at
of
the
that
right
right
time.
away.
Oh yeah,
That's one of our favorite ones.
Yes.
We have them all the time in the clinic, and I'm every single patient that comes through receives prayer. Every single person. So that's really why we're there.
Yeah. Okay, and on the education front, I would imagine you have a lot of very thankful parents.
So yes, the parents are very thankful because what we provide for them, they could never do that to that extent. But I think the first one is the little girl that started the program. Her name was Tusimpi. She's as tall as me now, just about as tall as me. And I saw her, she was about, this big, and she had a baby on her back, and she was crouched over starting a fire for cooking for the family. And I just, that is not something we would want for our children. I found out about her. She ended up being an orphan. And she became the house girl of this family now. And it was a uncle or a brother of some kind. And I went to him and asked, if we can put her in school, will you promise not to female circumcise her and make her a child bride? And they agreed. Now she's getting ready to go to boarding school. And she's going to be in 5th grade, yes.
There's no amount of money that will. Listen, we're out of time, but just please stay in touch with me. I'd like to have you on once in a while and update us. And to my viewers, I'm very careful about what I would ask you to give to, but I think there's a lot of people out there that could write some sizable checks for this ministry, and I hope you'll think about it and stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support.
Isn't that great? I do want to remind you again, as I did at the top of the program, that we are viewer supported, and you can send a gift to Homekeepers through the mail. That's Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758. And also, the way so many people are doing their business nowadays online, 1-800-229-0059. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not hesitant at all to ask for this, since we're able to bring you people like Linda and Dr. Tanya. What a wonderful blessing to be able to tell you about these ladies. And as they were talking, I was thinking about a movie I saw not too long ago about the Apostle Paul. And there were so many messages you could take away from that, but in it the Christians were hiding and fearful for their lives, and it was quite thought-provoking when you kind of see the Bible put to life right in front of you. And what really grabbed me was, from those 120 people or less, Christianity's around the world today. How did it survive? It could only survive through the power of the Holy Spirit and people believing that Jesus truly is who he said he was, and he was raised from the dead, physical death, that we could have life and have it more abundantly. And so I think of that, those people really fearful that they could lose their lives just because they believe in Jesus, all these hundreds of years later. And we talked to Dr. Tanya and to Linda, and they are preaching that gospel and taking it to those who need it the most. And not only that, they're healing the sick, and they're educating these children who would never have the blessing of learning to read. What a mighty God we serve, my friends. It just overwhelms me at times, and to think, and I thank God for those homekeepers ahead of me and my grandparents on both sides who believed in the Lord, and my parents who taught us about Jesus in the home. I tell you, what we're doing is very, very, very important. Be sure that your homekeeping is in an evangelistic style, that you're raising young people, you're raising children to love and serve the Lord and to follow him. It's the only way to go. Well, that's it. But please join me next time, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.